Let's get a little weird. Let's get a little odd. Those sounds you like to hear. We got it going on. It's the ODDCAST. It's the ODDCAST. It's the ODDCAST. It's the ODDCAST. Hey, welcome back to the ODDCAST podcast, where we talk about turning passion into paychecks, passion into profession. We are joined by a very special guest today, Tim of Aztec Graphics. We're actually in-house at Aztec Graphics. They're San Diego's largest selection of prints and posters, and they've been in operation and family-owned since 1983. You can find them on postersamerica.com, and there you can get custom prints, you can get ready-made custom frames, ready-made frames, and you can shop in their selection of over 4,000 posters. Not only that, they have incredible ratings on Yelp, whether it's diplomas or family memorabilia. You can hit up Aztec Graphics for all your framing needs. Tim, how are you doing today?
Really good. I'm glad to have you in the shop today. We've never done anything like this, but I'm excited to try it out and glad to have you in.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're really glad to be here. We're in beautiful Pacific Beach, San Diego, California. Couldn't be a better place for a storefront.
Yeah, definitely. So we've been here since 1991 in this location, and in store we're Aztec Graphics. Online we're Poster America. It's a little more global. As for Aztec Graphics, you know, we got that name from SDSU. We started our first store over there back in 1988, and a few years after moved down here once we realized all the college kids actually live by the beach and not by the school. So, and we now have gone to more framing, and we used to sell a lot more posters back in the 90s or so, and mostly I would say about 80% of our business in stores is framing, and most of the poster sales go online now.
Interesting. So that's through Poster America online, Aztec Graphics in person. So,
yes, sir.
And most of that framing, the in-store stuff that you were saying, is most of that custom, or is a lot of that just ready-made stuff?
So it's a little mix of both, and that's kind of what differentiates us from, you know, other frame shops. Most normal person will think of a frame shop as some expensive art gallery they walk into and, you know, pay their left kidney for a framing job. So, but we kind of have something for everybody here. Whether you just need a cheap print you bought online for $10, you need a quick frame, we can get you in that. Or if you have a sports jersey or a military shadow box you need framed, we can do that. And it's really hard to walk out of here and not have a solution, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, because it is totally funny how a frame can truly change the aspect of whether it's anything from as simple as a poster to, like you said, anything as complex as a military shadow. I mean, that must be, you know, a much different process. But the fact of the matter is, you know, you guys are here to satisfy basically everyone's custom needs, and that has to be a pretty cool feeling at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, we get a lot of people that have gone and, you know, they go to places like Michael's or something like that, and they get a bad experience because someone there doesn't know what they want. They try to put them in this museum style frame where they just have a standard poster and they don't want to spend $200 or $300 to frame it. So, you know, we have pre-made standard poster size frames starting about $40-$45. We'll even put it in for you. And so we're all about customer service and going that extra mile to make sure everyone walks out happy.
Yeah, that was definitely the one thing I noticed, like when I met anyone at the art event who had gotten, you know, work done here, when I read all the Yelp stuff, it was basically that, you know, the custom stuff was just exactly that. It was just a custom experience, not rushing people out, basically taking the time to figure out exactly what they needed. And if they didn't know what they needed, giving them kind of, you know, the expert insight into what was going to look best based on, you know, the type of print, poster, you know, jersey that they were getting framed, and also, you know, based on the coloration. I mean, you just framed that piece right there, you were saying.
Right here.
Yeah, that's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, a lot of people are intimidated walking into frame shops because it's not something you ever do, or maybe you do it once a year, maybe once every 10 years. So our job is to make sure you come in, feel comfortable, and you don't, you kind of you learn a few things while you're here and kind of make sure you're confident in your decision, because I mean, it's not like making a decision for dinner. It's something that you're going to put on your wall and you're going to have for years to come. So you want to make sure it's right, you know?
Yeah, that's important. And I think, not only in a sense of treating the customer right, just that's just how you do business in general, with integrity and respect for whatever the customer wants. And I think
Exactly.
the family-owned aspect of your operation, family-owned and operated aspect of your operation definitely plays into that inherently.
Definitely. I mean, with the family aspect, it can get a little tricky at times, being too close to your coworkers. But it actually helps as to tie everything in. It drives our passion more to be better and evolve as we have over the years, because I would say, at least half the frame shops in the last couple decades have closed down in town because they had some certain niche that worked in a certain period of time, but they weren't willing to change to move with the times. And that's kind of what we've continued to do over these years to make it to, a couple years short of 30.
Yeah, via, the stuff like Poster America, via the stuff like hosting, those great art events. Shout out to Nick Martinez,
Yeah.
And that's the evolution, I feel like, of what you, also having an Instagram, Twitter, Facebook presence, and also use that for marketing. That's very essential these days.
Yeah, and so we launched our new website, Poster America, about 4 to 5 months ago, and I didn't know a whole lot or pretty much nothing about online marketing and what went into social media and what you needed to do to get your name out there and build your brand online, because it's a whole different ballgame than a brick and mortar store. And basically it's like us, like back to 35 years ago, where we're restarting a business. Nobody knows us online from somewhere in Nebraska, so you're almost rebooting, and you're relearning everything all over again. But it's been fun so far, and it's a long process, and patience is definitely important, but hard work will get us there. And we've kind of gotten to the point where we started selling frames online as well.
Mm-hmm.
Small pre-made frames, and which we actually make right behind this wall right here. So
wow, that's awesome.
So, and what makes us different from going on Amazon and buying just a standard size frame is a lot of them are actually custom moldings. They're very unique styles, and we kind of just are trying to appeal to someone who lives in a maybe middle of nowhere, and they don't want to drive 20 miles, go into a frame shop
Mm-hmm.
and get charged an arm and a leg, but they can, for maybe $30, buy a 8x10 ready-made that looks really nice and comes to their doorstep, and they can easily pop it in, throw it on their wall, make it easy. And that's kind of what we're gearing towards now.
That's awesome. So that's the framing aspect, and then like you said, the posters online via the Poster America is the other kind of big one. And that's interesting. I mean, framing posters has to be kind of an interesting dichotomy in a way, because it's like not necessarily like always like the quality print, but the frame can take it over the top, and someone can look at a normal poster, see it framed, and just be like, wow, who drew that? Who photographed that? And it's kind of cool to just be in the back of your head say, oh man, that was just a poster.
Yeah, well, the most important part when you're framing is to almost make it look like an extension of the poster or the print or the jersey or whatever you're framing. And to make it almost like a piece of the art. So, and that's kind of the key when it comes to framing. And it's really interesting to just see totally both sides of the spectrum of what people bring in, and as like I said, from a cheap little poster to we framed a signed Abraham Lincoln document. So
wow.
So there's been a lot of things, and actually a month ago we framed Hall of Fame baseball player Alan Trammell's Hall of Fame jersey. So that was one of the more special pieces, me being a baseball fan and all. But
yeah, no, that's incredible. That must be so cool to get kind of also, in a way, you get like a hands-on feel of history in a way. I mean, whether it's via the clients or like a history of kind of San Diego, if it's people who are coming in from the local area. But I feel like, whether it's the Abraham Lincoln document, whether it's the Alan Trammell, I mean, that's pretty incredible, and it must be fun.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, by default, I've learned a lot of things by just what people have brought in, and that kind of what makes it, at least exciting still. So, because you come in for the day and you don't know what's gonna come at you.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a long road. As my parents started in '83 out at Kobe swap meet selling cheap framed art, So, and here we are today.
yeah. That's an awesome, transition to go from swap meet to the first storefront and then to this storefront. Tying off that point, I think such an interesting point is, obviously you guys are named Aztec Graphics. San Diego is clearly near and dear to your hearts. It's near and dear to our hearts on the ODDCAST. It's been near and dear to a lot of our guests' hearts. This is an open-ended question, but in what way has San Diego kind of influenced, the way you do business, the way that you've been able to kind of bob and weave and adapt, and kind of just the way that you are willing to change your aspect and be really, fresh and new with stuff?
Well, I would say, being in PB in general is, an ever-changing area, and there's a lot of, young, hip kids who kind of actually, in a way, show you, what's in now, and San Diego is just a mixture of a lot of people that has taught us a lot of things, and you look at other cities, everyone's so, chill, laid back, and that, I think, has played a big role into helping create and make it easier to give top quality customer service, to be honest. Mm-hmm. Because 95% of our customers are easy and fun to work with, and and just a pleasure, So
yeah,
makes this job easier. And I think a lot of it has to do being in San Diego, and PB in general is it's hard to be 5 blocks from the beach and be angry,
I absolutely agree. There is something to be said. One of the words that's been more popular lately is vibe.
Yeah,
it's a vibe, but it is literally kind of a vibe, and it definitely flows into the shop, and in the best possible way. The San Diego vibe, and I'm not originally from San Diego, but it's taken me in as it's, not many people are originally blessed enough to be from San Diego, but it's an incredible place, and it definitely reflects in the work that you all do here. I guess the next thing again, another open-ended question, and we have touched on this. So let's say just, I come in and ask for a custom frame, and I know that this is open-ended in the sense that we've said that you guys will frame just about anything. Let's say I come in and just, for example, a signed Tony Gwynn jersey.
So what you'll do is, regardless of what you bring in, the process starts as the same. You lay it out on the table. We kind of get a feel of if maybe you're looking for a certain design or a certain color of frame because you want to match something. We get a feel for what and what you're looking for at first. If you're not, then most people are going to kind of defer to you or to me or my mom to kind of lead them in a direction. And after all these years, it's a funny thing, but it's really something you just learn what colors kind of go with each other,
yeah,
and what complements each other. it's not something that, and I'll tell you what, I mean, 10 years ago starting to work here, I didn't know much about how to design a framing job, and just experience is what helps. But sorry to get off on a tangent there.
No, it's super interesting.
Yeah, so you'll bring your item in. So we'll say a jersey. Bring that in. We get a feel for it, for what you're looking for if you don't know.
Like, what you know and what you don't know, like
exactly.
You said. Yeah.
And then after that, a lot of times, with the jerseys, people like to incorporate the team colors. Maybe not all over the place, but just in a subtle way.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll kind of pick out the back color if you want a matting on top. And I usually start from the inside out. So yeah, we'll pick out what matting you like, see what works there, and then pick the frame. And generally, not always, but generally, I like to make sure the frame has a good contrast between that and the mat. So
oh wow.
So, and usually I like to get maybe 3 or 4 framing options out there for someone, and then kind of play the process of elimination game, and that's usually the best way. Some people will like to take pictures and ask friends, family members, get opinions, because validation is also everything these days. So.
Validation, yeah, it is. No, it's key. And so when you say matting, that's the
matting is the border right around here.
Okay.
Here's the frame. This one's actually double matted. So
oh, wow.
Some people like to do a little hint of one color as a breakup, and then have your main color here, that the colors you want to pull out in the art piece. So.
Yeah, but I do totally see what you mean. I mean, what you just said almost ties into the extension of what you said way earlier, where you want it to be an extension of the piece. I mean, I can see the white there playing into the white water from the picture, and then kind of the aqua tying into that dark aqua tying into the colors in the water too. I mean, it's awesome. And then the frame gives it the beachy feel almost.
Exactly, and it kind of pulls you into making you feel like you're actually in that location,
Oh, wow, that's pretty powerful.
That's kind of that's what our goal is, to make sure you walk out and are just flabbergasted, That's the best word I could think
yeah, no.
of. And then the last process of the framing is there's different glass options. This is just regular glass on here, which then there's, if you're worried about fading, there's UV protected glass, so it's 99% protected, looks just like the regular glass.
Wow.
Then there's others. There's acrylic, so plexiglass, which if you're worried about weight, that's another option. If you have issues with glare, there's 3 types of glass. There's anti-reflective, there's non-glare, which kind of looks cloudy and tones colors down. I usually recommend the anti-reflective, or there's museum glass, which is like the Ferrari of glass.
Okay.
And that's, it can be a little pricey, but if it's something that's near and dear to your heart, then it's very, it might be important. Here, we have
awesome, yeah.
We actually have an example here.
That's sweet. That's perfect.
In the middle is the museum. On the right is the UV, which looks like regular glass. On the left is the non-glare, which you can tell is kind of cloudy. But this is a great example here. So
that's wonderful. Well, I mean, that just speaks to the fact of how you were saying. I mean, you lay out all the options, and I mean, I think on your website at Aztec Graphics, it's one of the things is you guys say, we want our customers to come back and feel like, that if they come back in 10 years, if they come back in 1 year, if they come back in 1 month, that they're going to get the same treatment always, and that we're going to take the time of day to lay out all the options and give our expertise where we think it's needed. And, like you said, also back off where we think that, if you have a, pure vision of what you want to do, we're going to help you get to that vision. And that has to be a pretty... as you've been in the business for 10 years, sometimes stepping back must be a little difficult. If someone comes in with a wild recommendation, you're like, and it's not going to really work, but I think I'm going to do it anyway.
Well, it used to be harder for me to be like, because I would be more worried that they're seeing this little corner of a frame and they're thinking this is what they want, and then me having like a slight little anxiety that they're gonna see it done and be like, wow, you were right. And then we're gonna have to reframe it. So I try to lead customers the best I can, but if they're really adamant about doing something a certain way, I mean, I'm not gonna push them away from it. And I've had things where someone put a pink frame and a yellow mat and they were happy as can be, and I would have never done it for myself, but that doesn't matter, you know. They're putting it on their wall. I always say, you know, if someone else doesn't like it, they don't need to come over, you know.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that's the motto, is art for everyone.
Exactly.
So I think also, to that being said, I'm sure there's been, you know, times where someone comes up with a pretty wild combination and you're like, that may not work out, and then the finished piece and you're like, wow, it worked out. I never would have thought.
Plenty of times. And that's kind of like another learning lesson, which, I never would have thought those colors work together, but they do. But yeah, I actually wanted to just give a quick rundown of like all the services again that we do. So
dude, absolutely.
Yeah, so we used to have about 4,000 posters in stock. I probably would put it about 2,000 to 3,000 now.
Okay.
We sell tapestries, t-shirts. On custom framing, we do jerseys, canvas stretching, any print, pretty much up to 5 to 6 feet wide.
Wow.
And custom, like I said, custom framing, about probably 30 different frame sizes for pre-made frames. We'll cut a mat and put, if your picture's a odd size, we can cut a mat, get it into a standard frame if you're trying to, you know, do it a little more economically. So we really do have something for everyone, starting at, you know, we even have cards for $2, you know. So
incredible. Yeah. That's awesome. And you know, and if you're in San Diego, I highly recommend coming into the shop. It's right on Garnett. We'll throw in the address. We'll put all the titles right along there just
Perfect.
to make it look nice and everything. You know, I guess, you know, the thing I'd also like to, you know, just articulate is, you know, we always ask everyone about turning passion into paychecks, you know, taking the leap of, you know, not necessarily going the route of, you know, working for a 401k with the retirement plan, you know, with dental setup, where you kind of, you know, go another route where you're pursuing a field that doesn't have a necessarily defined road that you can follow. And I think it's pretty powerful to see someone putting it into action. Would you have any recommendation for anyone out there who's, you know, wanting to kind of take the leap of starting a business, or, you know, starting a music career, starting a comedy career? I mean, because I think it's all similar. What you guys do is art. What that is art. I mean, would you have any recommendations other than just take the leap and work hard?
Yeah, it's a little different for me because, you know, the business was started and before I was here, long before I was here even. So, but in a way it's similar because, like I said, we just started our new website, and that's pretty much rebooting a whole new business. So, I mean, definitely what I would say, if you're trying to get into a new business, whatever it is, or trying to be an artist, trying to be a musician, if you're passionate about it, you better stick with it and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Of course, you know, a cliche, patience is important, and you know, if you just keep working at it, eventually you're gonna see progress. And that's kind of something I've decided to tell myself the last, you know, several months, which, you know, the first month of being online, it's like, that's the most nervous. How many sales am I going to make? What am I going to do? But really, you know, it takes years to build businesses. And you see these other famous online businesses, they market through Instagram and all these things. And you think, how am I going to get my shop to that? Well, they've been doing it for at least 10 years probably, you know.
Precisely.
So, and it's, you know, it's always tricky if you don't have like the funding right away. That's always the hard part, because when you don't have that, you know, it's hard to spend money on marketing, advertising type stuff. But, you know, I've read a couple articles, and one was saying that the number 2 best way of marketing is word of mouth.
Wow.
And so we sell at colleges still to this day, over 35 years later. And so out there we're Poster America now, and we hand out stickers, cards, and that's kind of our number 1 route. And there's a sticker there he's showing us. And that's kind of our number 1 route right now of marketing, which, some companies would laugh at us for, but, we're a pretty small business, so that's where we're at. And
word of mouth is huge. What was number 1 out of curiosity? Sorry to cut you off if you don't know.
It was social media.
It was? Wow. Okay. Sorry. I figured it was.
I didn't want to go there, but,
I figured it was. But no, word of mouth, the cool thing about word of mouth is it's natural. And it proves loyalty, in my opinion. It proves that you're providing something that people care enough to recommend to their friends. They're willing to put their credibility on the line to represent your brand and your product. And I think that being said, what's a repost on a social media? That's really word of mouth is someone actually taking the time and saying, hey, I went to Aztec Graphics, or hey, I went on Poster America and I got an amazing experience, totally custom job. And I think that's pretty powerful.
Yeah, and as for you see a post on social media, you think nowadays you think in the back of your mind, oh, did they pay for that or something? Because there's a lot of funky things that go on with that business. So
totally.
So yeah, we're just just getting started, and hopefully we're gonna be here for years to come, and I'm excited to see where this business goes, because I know it's going to work,
Yeah. Oh, well, again, with not only your passion for the beautiful framing, but also your passion for giving people, kind of putting what they want into fruition. And like you said, this is going to be something, and you take that very seriously, I feel like, this is going to be something that could be hanging in their house for 50 years, 100 years, who knows? I mean, and that's pretty awesome to be able to provide that. And I feel like it's more than just enhancing the picture. What you do is a whole different art into itself.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, if you think about it, art is a funny thing, because a lot of people will put it on their wall and they don't consciously know it's there, but you don't realize subconsciously that if your walls are blank, or if there's some stuff on there, how different it actually makes you feel while you're in your place of home or work or wherever,
Yeah.
There's a reason why office buildings put art on the walls.
There's motivational, the cat hanging off, the hang in there.
I don't necessarily agree with the 50 frames the same color, but that's another story. And then one other quick thing, sorry to change subjects here,
dude, not at all.
I wanted to talk about kind of online. So with our posters, there's hundreds of poster companies. There's big time poster companies, art.com. I don't want to give them any ploys, but but
I'll bleep that out.
A lot of those people like that. But what differentiates us is that with our posters, we've been in the business since '83. So we also have a collection of out of print posters. Some of them date back as early as 1970, blacklight posters,
wow,
band posters, movie posters, and these ones you can't buy on just some normal site. They haven't been even around. Sometimes you can find them on eBay with pinholes or stuff like that,
or like weird reprint fake ones that like the graphics are completely off,
or they show up on silk from China or something like that. But so these have literally been sitting on shelves for the last 20 to 30 years.
Wow.
And some guy somewhere might or female somewhere might want some poster that they had in their college dorm room, 25 years ago, and they don't care the price to pay, and they're just so happy that even exists anymore. And that's that honestly makes us feel good too, when someone will say things like that to us, and tell us how much it means that they found this poster. And that's kind of a real good, feel good part about the online business.
Mm-hmm.
And
you can reach so many people.
Yeah, we definitely have been gearing towards letting people know we have a lot of vintage selection, along with the new ones that you see online all the time, or you can get on any site. But we also offer free shipping domestically.
Wow.
So any poster you buy within the U.S., shipping's included.
That's awesome.
And I send out deals about once every couple of weeks, once a month. I don't like to bombard people with emails because I know how it is. Everyone gets a lot. So
yeah, you want to keep it. Yeah.
But yeah, if you're looking for art, go on our website, posteramerica.com, and sign up for our email list, and you'll get some cool deals in the future here. So
yeah, we'll definitely put the link in there to subscribe on the bottom of this link in YouTube. And on iTunes, and on Spotify, and on Google, and on Anchor. So you guys are definitely gonna have to. You guys and gals are definitely gonna have to follow them on Instagram. Check them out on posteramerica.com, aztecgraphics.com. It's a really awesome situation, awesome business. One other final plug. It's Tim's birthday today. We got it. Happy birthday.
Thank you
so much for giving
Appreciate
us the time of day on your birthday. It's the big 3-0.
It is starting to feel old, but they say the 30's the new 20, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean with the 30s comes great wisdom.
We'll see. Only time will tell.
Time will tell. Well, I think we've just about covered everything that we want to. Again, we're here at Aztec Graphics. It's San Diego's largest selection of prints and posters. They've been in operation since 1983, family owned and operated since 1983. They're down here on Garnett Avenue in Pacific Beach in San Diego. You can find them online at posteramerica.com, where you can find custom prints, ready-made prints, a wide selection of posters dating back from the 70s, as Tim was saying. So, and all the great stuff that we talked about, you can get. They do in-house custom frames. I mean, we could sit here talking for just a whole interview on what specifically they do in here. And, they're getting a great online presence, hosting some art shows. So it's been a lot of fun. Thanks so much, Tim, for your time. Do you have any shout-outs that you want to give out other than, plug the websites, plug everything, dude, please?
No, I mean, I was just going to say, yeah, definitely follow us. We're probably going to have some more events maybe at the shop in the coming future months. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And like I said, check us out, posteramerica.com. There's probably something there for everyone. I promise you that. And, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, there's a place for that on there too to email us. So
it's been awesome. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the ODDCAST, where we talk about turning passion into paychecks. Have a great day. Shout out to you and yours. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
posteramerica.com, aztecgraphics.com.
Let's get a little weird. Let's get a little odd. Those sounds you like to hear. We got it going on. It's the ODDCAST. It's the ODDCAST. It's the ODDCAST. It's the ODDCAST.